Pastor Steve here. Hebrews 12:28 through 29 says, "Therefore, since we are receiving a kingdom which cannot be shaken, let us have grace by which we may serve God acceptably with reverence and godly fear. For our God is a consuming fire." The kingdom itself, our kingdom in Christ, will never be shaken. So we must seize God's grace in Jesus, helping us, notice, to serve God acceptably. Spurgeon notes that, "Glory be to God, our kingdom cannot be moved. Not even dynamite can touch our dominion. No power in the world and no power in hell can shake the kingdom which the Lord has given his saints. With Jesus as our monarch, we fear no revolution and no anarchy. For the Lord has established this kingdom upon a rock, and it cannot be moved or removed." Some wrongly argue that too much grace gives a license to sin and breeds disrespect to God. Actually, grace gives us reverence and godly fear. Those who think grace gives them license to sin really probably don't understand God's grace at all. Note here that grace received naturally gives a grace to serve. Those who think grace, I said, gives a license to sin, maybe misunderstood it. Grace stays in force even if we blow it. But no one who truly gets grace wants to continue in sin. They want to serve God. As Paul said to the Romans, "How shall we that are dead to sin live any longer in it?" But when you yield yourself, servants, to obey, well, that's whose servants you are. Notice that our God is a consuming fire. Since God is in fact a consuming fire, we do best to come to him on his terms. These are terms of unmerited approval, unearned approval in Jesus. He'll consume everything outside that sphere. But the truth is that God, as a consuming fire, is a comfort to the believer. They realize that the Father poured out his consuming fire of judgment on the Son of God in our place. And when he did it, it completely consumed the guilt of sin in all who believe. The penalty of sin was consumed in Jesus at the cross. So for us, it's not being burned up by God, but being refined. Malachi 3:2 says, "Who can endure the day of his coming? Who can stand when he appears? For he is like a refiner's fire, a launderer's soap. He will sit as a refiner and a purifier of silver." Message of Romans 8:28 and 29 is rich. "All things we know work together for good to those who love God and are called according to his purpose." Now, that doesn't mean that you get a flat tire by the road and you can expect good things around the corner, although God's mercy is great and he does take care of us today. But it has a greater meaning, and it's explained in verse 29. There's a little grammatical connective. Yes, those are important. "For." Okay. "To those who love God are called according to his purpose. For the ones he foreknew, those he predetermined to be conformed to the image of his Son." See, that's the good thing, making us more like Jesus. The greatest good in all of your refining is to make you look like your beloved elder brother. You're in a fire now? Take heart. He's working for your eternal good. You'll be glad of that someday. You ponder that, Pastor Steve.